Good afternoon. Welcome to the Ignite Hub. My name is Kimberly Blackrincan. I'm the director here at the Ignite Hub. Welcome to our September Future of Tech Lunch and Learn. We have an exciting topic. Of course, AI is always an exciting topic, and now we're talking about it in accounting and finance. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome our online guests, our guests that we have in person. I'd also like to thank Verizon. They are a sponsor of this guest speaker series. So we are grateful for their support. Today's topic is the power of numbers, AI in accounting and financing with Festina Manley Spain, CPA, founder and CEO of FMS Advisory. I'm going to go ahead and just read her bio and introduce her. Festina Manley Spain is a certified public accountant with over a decade of experience in accounting and taxes. She's the founder of FMS Advisory, a boutique accounting and tax firm based in Rockville, whose mission is to spread financial positivity through top-tier accounting services that empower business owners to build the businesses of their dreams. Festina's passion for inclusivity and her commitment to breaking down barriers in financial accessibility are central to her work. She firmly believes that everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, deserves the tools and knowledge to navigate their financial landscape with confidence and positivity. This belief drives her professional endeavors and fuels her dedication to fostering financial literacy, making her a true champion for financial positivity. Welcome, Festina. We're glad to have you. I'm going to pass the mic over to you.
Thanks, Kimberly. And thank you, Ignite Hub, for having me. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Good, good. Well, thank you for being here and indulging me on this topic. As Kimberly mentioned, I'm a certified public accountant, and I am currently the founder and CEO of FMS Advisory. It's a boutique accounting firm, and we're based right here in Rockville. Next slide, please. So this is our agenda for today, what we'll be talking about. We'll do a quick little introduction so you'll learn more about me. We'll talk about the current landscape of AI and technology. We'll go through some benefits and use cases. Then we'll talk about the pressing challenges in the accounting industry right now and how AI can solve them. Then at the very end, we'll go through key takeaways and do a Q&A. Sounds good? Yeah, next slide. Okay. So the one thing I want you to know about me is that I am homegrown Montgomery County. I've lived here pretty much my entire life, since I was 6 years old to be exact. So I wasn't born here. I'm an immigrant, and my family and I had to flee our home country due to a civil war. We come from a small country off the west coast of Africa called Sierra Leone. And in the late 90s, there was a civil war that took the lives of over 50,000 individuals and displaced many more, including myself. We had to leave with the clothes that were on our back and what we could fit in a suitcase. So it was nothing short of traumatic. But luckily, we ended up here in Montgomery County, the melting pot, right, of the DMV. I'm a product of MCPS. I went to Northwest High School. So go Jags. And that's where I took my very first accounting class and loved it. It was an instant swipe right. Accounting is a language, and if you can speak that language and understand it, then you're set. I also went to University of Maryland. That's where I ended up graduating, but took classes right here on the Rockville campus of MC. So I'm very much proud to come from Montgomery County. I'm also, I started my career in Deloitte. I spent about 2 years there, then I moved over to KPMG, where I put in a ton of hours. I mean, burning the midnight oil, right? So I did my time. And it was around 2020, of course, when we all know what happened in 2020, right? Our whole world shifted when I realized, like, hey, I can do something different. I can work from home. I can give back to the community. There were so many changes and so many laws, and people just needed help. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe this is my time to help small businesses, because I was sitting in boardrooms of large corporations and they had a team full of people. They didn't need me. It was the small businesses that need me. So that's when I decided I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to take a leap of faith and go out on my own, start my own accounting firm. I started doing taxes, right? I was doing taxes for friends and families, family members. And from there, it just grew. It spiraled. I was being referred, and my business has grown tremendously since 2021. And now I'm proud that I can stand here and say I do this full time, right? I'm also a mom to so a very energetic 5-year-old, a wife, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. But just going back to my college days, I did regret one thing. I regretted that I never did anything in technology. As a kid, I was that person that just loved to figure it out, right? I would like to tinker with things, and that was especially true when it came to technology. I was able to grasp certain concepts that others didn't, but yet deep down inside, I didn't think I was good enough to major in something technology related, right? I had that self-doubt. But I ultimately, it was one of my biggest regrets. But this AI boom and revolution and where I am now in life, it's giving me that second chance to explore that itch that I have for technology. And it's become a passion for me, right? So next slide. So when we talk about AI in accounting, right, we're really just referring to using advanced technology such as machine learning, natural language processing, and RPA to automate, eliminate, and streamline those manual accounting processes, right? Just out of curiosity, when you hear the word accounting, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, to your head? Headache? No, that's fair. That's fair. Headache, money, boring, right? Manual, tedious, required. Yeah, like someone's making you do it. Like it's not something that you want to do. It's because someone's telling you you have to do it, right? And that's a fair point. It's a headache because by nature, accounting and the work that we do is very tedious and very manual job. And I think we as accountants as well haven't done a great job in communicating our value to the world, right? We're required to do something, but we're actually adding value to that requirement. We're helping businesses stay afloat. We're the lifeblood of every business. So we haven't done a great job communicating our value, making sure people understand what we bring to the table, how we're solving problems, and what tools we're using to solve problems. So it's no secret that it's no surprise that 72% of accounting professionals expect to use AI in their organization to grow within the next 3 years, because there's just so many areas that we can improve upon. Next slide, please. So using AI to improve, streamline, and even eliminate those manual accounting, those tedious accounting tasks. That's what we're really talking about. And the benefits, right? We're going to improve our efficiency and accuracy. So no more sitting behind the keyboard, keying in things and maybe fat fingering things as well, right? AI allows us to increase our accuracy and do it and save time. We're going to eliminate repetitive processes. With RPA, we can tell with just a click of a button, we can have the AI run and do our tasks for us so that we can remove ourselves from behind our laptop and behind our keyboard and actually go out into the world and communicate what our value is. Because clients don't really care what happened in the past. And that's what accountants have traditionally been taught to do, to look at what happened in the past. They want to understand what's going to happen in the future. They want you to be to tell them, like, this is the next move that I need to make. So AI allows us to do that. We can give the robots, the AI, those tasks that don't add value, so we can move into that value position. We want to provide real-time financial insights and reporting. That's part of value, and enhance compliance and risk management so businesses can stay afloat. So this is pretty much what I do in my firm and the value that I provide to my clients. Okay, next slide. So now that we understand some of the benefits, let's talk about the use case. So use case number 1, data processing and data entry. Imagine that you run a big media company and you work with hundreds of freelancers. And these freelancers are going to bill you every month or at a certain frequency for their work, and you need to pay them. Using AI or OCR technology, we can eliminate the need to collect, gather, and process those manual bills. So we can now set up dedicated inboxes, have our contractors send their information to the inboxes, and then AI will extract the necessary data. And we can also set up approval processes, right? If it's under a certain amount, it goes through this approval process. If it's over a certain amount, it goes through a different approval process. So AI allows us to take ourselves away from that repetitive process and bring value to the work that we're doing. And we can pay our vendors quicker, right? Or if we're sending out our bills and invoices, we can now automatically collect those hours and push it out to our customers so that we can get that much needed cash. So that's use case number 1. Use case number 2. This is reconciliation, right? Every month, we need to reconcile our bank accounts, making sure that what happens in real world actually makes it to the ledger. So we do this by performing what's called reconciliation. By using RPA or robotic process automation, we can automatically match transactions between bank statements and accounting records. So we no longer have to sit and compare the two data points, take hours to compare the two data points to figure out if there's any inaccuracies, if there's anything we need to go back to. Now we can have the tools, and these sit right in our general ledger, right? We can use tools like QuickBooks Online and Xero to do the matching process for us, so we can focus on delivering that value to clients. Use case number 3. So cash flow. Cash is, again, the lifeblood of any business. You want to understand where your cash is going to be at a certain period of time. So like I mentioned, we don't care about the past anymore. We want to be able to predict the future. So using predictive analytics, we can gather information about where our cash will be. So what bills need to be paid and when they need to be paid and when we're going to be paid, so we can provide that value. In my firm, I use specifically Sift Analytics to do this. It's a great tool. And another one is called Float. So if you guys are interested, you can check those real life examples out. Use case number 4. So tax compliance, this is a big one. Does anyone use or do their own taxes by any chance? What software do you use? Okay, Pre-Tax USA. TurboTax, yes. TurboTax is huge with natural language processing, right? They fed their software with all this tax data, all the tax rules and regulations. So the software, to a certain extent, knows you may, if you don't enter something, if you answer a question yes or no, you may be eligible for a certain deduction, right? So that's natural language processing. It helps you maximize your deductions, save time because you no longer have to read the code, read the regulation, and you can just answer yes or no questions, right? How much time, how much of a lifesaver is that? So TurboTax is a great one. And if you're a professional preparing multiple returns, you would use their partner, or Intuit also makes ProConnect. So that's what I use as well. So we're going to stay compliant, save time, and maximize deductions using these tools. Use case number 5. So a lot of accounting, people think accounting is a lot of numbers. A lot of it is rules, following and compliance, right? Following the law. What does the law say and how do we apply it? So we're almost like lawyers, right? We have to abide by certain rules. So I'm sure you all are familiar with LLMs. So those are like the chat GPTs of the world that can analyze vast amount of data and financial information to spit back information to us, right? So we no longer, again, have to sit and read through large volumes of data. We can just have the LLM crunch it for us and give us the relevant parts, the parts that make sense, so that, again, we can provide value instead of sitting through the tedious parts. So the one tool that I love the most is Perplexity. If you haven't used it yet, it's a little different. I think it has ChatGPT in it. It has all the models in them, but it cites its sources. So which is really important when you're doing research. You want the source behind what it's telling you. One huge flaw of like just basic ChatGPT is that it can just make things up, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of the lawyer who used ChatGPT to write their case brief. Have you guys heard about that? Yeah, he used ChatGPT to write his case brief, and ChatGPT made it up. They made up the case. So if he would have just taken a step back and asked maybe ChatGPT or even Google, or try to do his own background research to figure out where did this come from, he would have saved himself so many time. And I think he's also facing like disbarment for that. So there's a lot of implications if you're not able to cite your source. And Perplexity does that very, very well. So CCH Answer Connect.
Google is very nervous.
Perplexity. Yeah. It's awesome. Like the Pro plan is awesome. Yeah. I see that Google search now has its own feature, Gemini, I think, that will cite its sources. But Perplexity is great. It will give you the articles. It's just amazing. So it's ChatGPT plus Gemini combined. So it's very, very powerful. But yeah, again, saves time, just gives you key relevant information so we're not stuck behind the desk. And then use case number 6. So custom GPTs, right? So not just using the bare bones ChatGPT. I think the ChatGPT is great when you can unlock the custom building your own, right? If you can customize it, if you can tell it to do just certain things within a certain parameter. So GPT actually stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So you're training your custom GPT on certain processes and topics. So if I say I want you to prepare a financial statement analysis, and these are the sections that I want you to have in them. I want you to give me comparisons month over month. I want you to give me percentages. What are the variance analysis? Give me a variance analysis. You can tell the custom GPT to do that for you. And every month, instead of you reading the financial statements to try to understand and do that for yourself, after you've built your GPT, you can just drop in the financial statement and it'll spit it out for you. So it's a game changer because now you have a repeatable process that you can use to deliver value. Tax Advisor GPT as well. We do a lot of tax planning for our clients. So you taking their prior year tax return and current year information and telling GPT, hey, give me a tax plan for this individual based on these parameters. And it can do that for you. And yeah, so that's one thing that we're trying to build right now in my firm. We're trying to build a tax advisor and a financial statement GPT, just because we churn those out so often. It just makes sense to have a standardized ways to do it. Any questions on the benefits or use cases? Anything that you've encountered experience-wise or experienced? Yeah.
My first few use cases have been around for a while.
Yes, it's been a while.
So which one is actually AI driven?
I mean, those are components of, yes, you're right. They've been around for a while. I'll say those are first gen, like AI and advanced technologies. But now with this boom of generative AI, I would say 4, 5, 6, like the predictive analytics, custom GPT, and the Perplexity that we talked about doing research for you. Those are more of the generative AI that people talk about. Yeah.
You mentioned how you're creating your own GPTs. What software are you using for that?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, so ChatGPT, if you purchase the different plans, they now have a team plan where your team can go in and use it as well. You can customize it. You can feed it data. So we're feeding it like tax IRS regulations for the tax advisor GPT, and then asking it to do research, right? So come back and give a specific case or regulation quotes that we can help answer questions. Yeah.
So you like train the model based on what you guys desire, and from that it interprets it, and with that trained model, that's when you keep giving it more case studies and it gives you back what you guys desire.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah, we train the model. I think there's parameters that you set up, like this is a brain, this is what you need to cite, and then this is the action. So every time we ask you a question, this is what you should earn. So that's what it is, how it performs. So it's just going to be returning the same information within certain parameters based on what we tell it. Yeah.
Follow on to that. Who owns the IP on that new set of custom GPT?
That's a good question. I think it still lies with ChatGPT. I'm not sure, 100% sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You're feeding it as a custom for you.
Yeah.
Is that now available for someone else?
You can make it available. So it'll be private unless you tell them, like, hey, I want to share this with the public.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a custom GPT marketplace on ChatGPT now.
Is that at a cost or a membership, and then whatever you create, you can regulate to your?
Yes. So you have to have the paid subscription.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe it's at $25 or $30 a month now for the paid subscription. And you can make it private, or if you want to share it with the world, you can put it out into their custom GPT library.
But you don't charge for that.
No, but you don't charge for it.
Right. So
Yeah, you can't make money off
yeah,
it.
you can't make up. And then of course the other part of that IP question is now you've trained this to do your stuff.
Yeah.
So you're gonna feed your customers' data into it. So
Yeah.
how do you protect that?
Yeah, so very good question. So one thing that we're not doing is we're not putting personal sensitive information in the GPT. So it really is just transactional information that's anonymous. So for privacy reasons, we're not allowed to disclose our client information, so we can't put it into the GPT. So if it's financial statements, we will black it out.
You redacted.
Redact, yeah, exactly. We'll redact it, and then if it's client questions or scenarios, we'll use fake names, right? So we're not putting sensitive information into the custom GPT.
Well, you're not putting identifiable information in
Yeah.
there.
You don't make
Identifiable.
it easier. That's
Huh?
right. You don't make it easier.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can recognize sequence of what it is, even if you paid fake information,
Mhm.
eventually they might be able to find out.
Who the person is. Yeah, I mean, it is a possibility. These things are getting smarter by the day, getting smarter than us. So those are the things that we need to watch out for. But we are creating, a use case, how to use like policies and procedures on how to use these things so that someone doesn't accidentally go in and put identifiable information in there. So. Yeah, great question. So now that you know the benefits and use cases, we'll talk about the biggest issues or challenges facing the accounting industry. And the biggest issue is there's a shortage of accounting professionals, a shortage of CPAs. So there's been a significant drop off in people sitting for first time CPA candidates, 33%, right? Between 2016 to 2021. And at the same time, we have a huge percentage of our workforce retiring. So there's an incredible shortage of accounting professionals, CPAs, people that do this type of work. And like I mentioned before, we haven't done a great job communicating our value, even to students, right? Even to people that may be considering majoring in accounting. It's not as fascinating, right? So that's one problem, but we just don't know how to communicate that to the younger population. And for the younger population, it's seen more as I'm just sitting behind my desk. I'm not going to be doing something cool with technology. I'm not going to be on Instagram, social media if I go into this field, right? So people have just not been attracted to our field. And we need to use technology to be able to communicate that value. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of cool things that are being built right now.
I've always thought CPA is one of those few college degrees that actually get pretty well paid when you come out, even as a
Oh, yeah.
first year
Yeah,
graduate.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do get paid, but I think maybe that when I was going into the field, it was more, we were at a higher pay scale.
Right.
But now with Google and these tech jobs, right? They've blown accounting entry wages out the water. It's hard to compete with that. So, but if you're able to combine the two, if you're able to, because accounting, like I said, it's a language. And if it's something that you can speak, you'll provide so much value. You're a necessary asset to the world. If you're able to combine accounting and technology, then you just kind of multiply your value there. There's so much opportunity there's a gap, right? There's a lot of manual processes that still need to be automated. We're still not, although we're using it, we're still not using it for accounting work, right? We're using it for communication. How do I better communicate this, right? The rate that it's being used for doing the advanced and the generative GPT work or the generative AI work is still very low. I think it's at like 12%, right, of accountants who actually use those custom GPTs. So there's a huge advantage to come in, build those things, and help move the profession forward. So that's where I think AI can help us as a profession. And if we're able to communicate that to the people coming in or the students that are considering accounting, then we can kind of get back to where we were, because CPAs nowadays are very, very, very spread thin, just in the amount of work and everything that we're trying to do. So shortage of CPAs, aging workforce population, but there's so much opportunity. There's so much opportunity that we can capitalize on. Yeah.
I got a question about CPA. This is like, I heard that basically there's a shortage of doctors, a shortage of all that stuff, and teachers and all that.
Yeah.
The question is that related to burnout? Basically, a lot of burnout, people doing it.
Burnout.
Because CPA, it's a fair, yeah. no.
Yeah, it's burnout. It plays a part of it, because you have to. So first, you have to get 150 credits to even qualify to sit for the CPA. So that kind of deters people, right? That's an extra year of schooling that you need to do before even starting that process. Then once you get through the exam, you have to put in those hours. So we're not working like bankers are, right? They're working some crazy hours, but we're putting in, 60 hours a week during busy periods or more. So during tax season, I think I was working 60 to 70 hours each week, just trying to crank out tax returns. So that's not the most appealing to students, right? We don't want to burn ourselves out. I got to the point of burnout. So part of the reason why I went out on my own is because I got really, really sick. I was working. I had an ear infection, but I was working to get out a report. But by the end of it, I literally end up in the hospital. So I had to figure out a different way for myself. And I thought, okay, let me go out on my own. And when people hear that, they don't see that as the most glamorous thing. While, an IT job with Google or Amazon, you could be working from home, right? You could be putting less hours. So burnout does play a part for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's not glamorous, but with the opportunity of AI, we can make it such. Those are the problems that it's solving. We could give AI all that manual work that we've usually given our staff accountants to do. Let them do the crunching, let them do the processing, or let it do the processing, right? And give ourselves time back. Give ourselves time back to be with family and friends and not have to go through burnout.
I think that generation. That's what they're looking for.
Yes.
They're looking for a job.
For sure.
That generation is understand that balance is important, which is balance is accounting more, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why accounting need to come out and say, hey, we can give you balance as well.
For sure.
That's.
Yeah, and that's why when, I have an intern, right, a University of Maryland intern. And her job is not just doing taxes, doing bookkeeping, it's actually do the technology to figure out what processes we can eliminate, what tasks we can eliminate, what we can give to AI so that we can focus on what matters. Yes.
Yeah, I guess this is more of just advice. IT is not as glamorous as you would think. Because I have a son that worked at Amazon. Okay. I have a son working at Google. They're both burning 60, 70 hours a week.
But they're getting paid more.
They're being paid well.
Yes.
I would admit they're paying well, but they are burning hours.
Yeah.
So especially those Amazon first 2 years, it's easy. You can easily burn 80 to 90 hours a week on it.
For sure.
So it's not as easy as
I'm sure it's not as glamorous.
Yeah.
The incentive is there.
The
Yes,
incentive is
yes.
there. Yeah, because I believe the starting pay for entry level accountant, don't quote me on this, but when I was going in, it was 62. I started at 62,000. I don't believe it's past 75, and that was 12 years ago, right? So the incentive is there. IT jobs are probably paying closer to 100,000 for entry level.
There's around between 70 and 100, somewhere around there,
70s?
depending on where you are.
Okay,
But
Yeah.
IT field is very broad. So it's really
Yeah, depending on where you are.
what
Yeah,
was that?
the IT is a very
It is broad.
broad,
It
so
is
it's like really
broad. Yeah,
what can your specialty is.
for sure, for sure. It's very broad. And accounting is too.
Yeah.
So there's definitely things within accounting that, kind of go vary, it varies. But yeah, so I just think there's a lot of opportunity to combine the two, using AI to eliminate those tedious tasks so that we can focus on what we value, right? A lot of CPAs, a lot of firm owners, want to adopt it, but maybe just don't have the time, right? So that's, like I mentioned, I have, an intern who, that's her job. She's gonna focus on figuring out, hey, this is what we can eliminate. Her background is accounting, but now she's getting
Exposure to generative AI. So yeah, so that's the biggest challenge. Anyone in here accounting related, does anything accounting related? Okay.
Plan on when I transfer out of C,
Uh-huh.
I plan on studying accounting.
Okay,
Yeah.
you plan on studying accounting?
Yeah.
Are you just doing core level
Yeah.
subjects right now? Okay, nice. No one else does anything accounting related? Anything technology related? Yeah, so technology is definitely more popular. But
Look into accounting. Like I'm sure technology is a language as well. But if you can speak those two languages, your value will be way higher. But yeah, that's everything I had for you guys today. I think the next slide is just future landscape, how AI can solve. Yep. And then Q&A. We did some, key takeaways, sorry. Key takeaways. So adopt an AI mindset. And what I mean by that is just be curious about what it is. And I'm sure most of you are already. Learn prompt engineering, right? Because that's the key to using these tools. Like the limitation of IT is it rests with your limitation. So learn how to use prompt engineering to get it to do what you need it to do. Use advanced technology to provide value and save time. Technology can be the perfect complement to most majors. So, like I said, this is a second coming for me. I'm using this AI boom to really kind of figure out why I like technology so much, and it's very interesting. And then embrace continuous learning. So my principal at Northwest High School used to say, learning is a lifelong process. Make your education a priority. So always make your education a priority. Always try to learn new things, and that will take you very, very far. And that's it. That's everything I had. Any other questions? Yes.
I have a question, just how you're, I thank you for coming and sharing your story. It's awesome. I love the idea of having an intern come in and who already has a background in finance and is now implementing and learning that whole generative, AI information. How are you and your team incorporating what she's bringing in and making time to have it filter and cascade throughout the employees so that you can take time,
Yeah,
right?
no, it's difficult because
Yeah.
you want to use it to save time, but you first have to build the thing, right? So we carve out dedicated times where we go through, so like every Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, we carve out those dedicated times and we can talk about this is the progress we've made and
specific topic or
Yeah,
something. So
and how close are we to rolling it out to the rest of the team? So you just have to make it intentional, I would say. But it is hard. It is hard, especially when you have to
yeah.
deliver for your clients as well.
I'm not in the finance field, but I have family
Okay.
who have CPAs
Yeah.
and when you're like my cousin, she's married, has 2 kids
Mhm.
and saw her numbers, her vitals, like blood pressure, all the numbers and just had to step away
Yeah.
and take some time to really pull it together.
Sure.
Look at her, and her numbers are improving. So maybe with the implementation of
Mhm.
AI and, interdepartmental, like, whichever field you're in, finance,
For sure.
I'm in the sciences, but like pairing that digital upgrade and
Yeah.
letting that extra help
Yeah.
you with that time away.
Yeah, no, I think this is true.
Avoiding burnout. Yeah.
Yeah, for many industries, it's just figuring out, well, if you're building the thing, right?
Yeah.
That might be a different story, but just figuring out how you can get time back. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think you, as you said, thank you for coming
Thank you.
and presenting for us. Very curious about AI. I attended the AI Expo in DC
Okay.
just a few months back. And so just kind of following the trend and seeing how it's disrupting and also innovating, right?
Mhm.
Revolutionizing different industries. And what was interesting is as I went to each of the vendors who were present, there were a lot of companies present at the Walter Convention Center.
Okay.
What was similar is that no one really has it figured out, right? Like
Yeah.
you see it coming, you see it has potential to improve your industry, streamline things, but so I just wanted to share with you, is like, just as you're still figuring it out and trying to understand, like, I know it's there, I know there's,
Yeah.
it has some capabilities. A lot of large organizations don't really have it figured out, but everyone's doing, taking a similar approach to you. They're designating somebody in their
For sure.
department or teams to like,
Yeah.
everyone get familiar with it. Let's embrace it. Let's
Yeah.
figure out what we can do with it.
Yeah.
So my question to you is just kind of piggybacking on what she asked, as this intern is, researching and analyzing, okay, this is what we think it can do.
Mhm.
Who would lead like the digital transformation across your org? Like, is that doesn't it hurt to do that? Like, are you going around and show everybody what this is, how to do it? Like, how would you implement, how do you foresee yourself implementing that digital transformation when you have it ready?
Yeah, right now that's me. Right now that's me, definitely with her help, leading it, but that's me just making those determinations as to when it gets rolled out to the rest of the team. Yeah, with small businesses, but eventually I would love to hire someone for that role, because technology is important to us and my firm. We've made it a point to use technology in the way we deliver services.
Yeah.
So eventually I'd love to hire for that role. Mhm.
The role of leading digital transformation.
Yeah, digital transformation.
Got it.
Exactly,
Okay.
because it's not going to stop, right? It's not going to stop. It's going to be part of us and it's going to always be changing. So you're going to need someone to be there to figure out what the next step is.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the question. Yes.
yeah, so I'm thinking through your use cases and your line. It looks like you're transforming yourself from a tax accounting services
Yeah.
to a tax advising service with the ChatGPT, with the customization.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself in 5 years as providing mostly tax advising or still providing tax accounting?
Well, mostly, so it's an advisory firm. So mostly we want to provide advice, and that forward-looking advice, right? But I don't think the compliance is going to go away. I don't think the filling out the tax return is going to go away because clients still need help with that. That is just to check the box, like say, hey, I did it. But a lot of the value and a lot of what we do is going to be in the advice and.
So these are additive services to the basic core
Correct.
accounting. And you
Correct.
say,
Yeah,
for a little more fee, where I can do this for you.
exactly. Yeah.
All right.
So we kind of bundle everything. One.
We have some questions in the chat.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you. We have a statement and a question in the chat. Raquel says, I'm a recent University of Maryland accounting grad and studying now at MC in data science and cybersecurity for the CPA.
Okay, cool.
And then Adelia says, what are the 150 credits to do with the CPA exam? I don't know if you know the answer to that.
Yeah. So that's just the core requirement.
Instead of 120 credits, you need to have 150 credits. And that's made up of your core university studies and then the rest of the 2. So 2 years is core, and 2 years is specifically accounting. And that extra 30 credits or that extra year can be in whatever you want. You just have to make it to 150 credits. But your university will let you know this is exactly the classes that you need to take to be eligible for the CPA or to even get an accounting degree, right? And then that extra 30 credits, you just have to figure out, are you gonna master in accounting, master in tax, or do something completely different? So like I said, I doubted myself when I was in college. I should have done technology, but I went and did international business. So I mentioned I'm an immigrant. So I thought, I'll do something humanitarian with my accounting degree. So I did international business for my last 30 credits. So it doesn't have to be accounting related, if that answers the question.
Adelia says, thank you. I appreciate the clarification. I had a question actually that Raquel brought up, that she has the degree in that. So there's like these tech adjacent opportunities, right? Like cybersecurity, because you're talking about sensitive information. So we need individuals that have backgrounds in cybersecurity as well. And then some other topics that came up that I'm really glad that you brought it up is the mental health and wellness and balance as well. And actually that's a topic we have coming up in November. We have wellness in tech. So talking about how are we able to balance our lifestyle? If you're putting in 60, 70 or 80 or 90 hours, where's the balance in that as we move into a more digital, like tech focused world? So just
No, for Raquel, who has, she's pursuing both cybersecurity and accounting, I would say really lean into that and market yourself as that because there are a lot of firms and even, at every level. So we have like the big four and then we have everybody else, right? But even at my level, I'm a small local accounting firm, but I'm thinking about technology. I want to use technology and I want to protect my clients' data. So really lean into that and look everywhere for those roles because they're out there. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Sure.
When is actually the event you guys are holding for the wellness and tech?
Oh, the
You guys-
yeah. Yep.
it's in November, and it's the third Thursday of the month. And right after we finish it, it'll be here. We have a slide deck of our promo, so we can bring it up the show for that. Important note, if you're here or anybody who registered, you have now been added to our distribution list, which you can opt out if you don't want to, but we'll send announcements and reminders as well. So that's important too. I had another comment that I wanted to add about so we've had a few different topics about AI in the like creative arts and accounting and finance. And the theme that I'm hearing about that is don't be afraid of it. And then the future is learning how to use AI as a tool. And that's what I'm hearing you saying. You say as well, the big companies don't have it figured out. And so there's a career path of understanding the technology so how you can help those businesses. So I appreciate you saying lean into that and add that to your skill set, your tool belt, because that makes you marketable for those businesses that don't have solutions and are looking to hire people to do that.
And just one last thing. So lean into it. Google just came out with their AI Essential Certificate course. So that's something that you can do really quickly and earn that certificate to be able to market yourself. So there's so many things out there, so many courses. It's still very new. So no, there's no one right way. So you have a multitude of ways to go about adding AI as a skill set.
Oh, thank you, Anthony and Eduardo. Here is our November Future of Tech event that we'll have here again in person or virtual. And we're actually featuring one of our own team members here at the college. Megan Cooperman is the wellness specialist for the college. So she is working on programming for staff, faculty, and students as well. So she's really excited about this topic. Lastly, Raquel said, thank you. I'd like to stay in touch with you. So how can people stay in touch with you if they'd like to?
So, thank you. So my email, you can email me. My email address is festina@fmsadvisory.com. So shoot me an email, especially if you are doing both accounting and something technological related. I would love to talk to you. But yeah, or if you just have a random question.
Okay, let's thank Festina for her time today and talking to us about AI and accounting finance. Thank you. On the screen and in the chat is a link for our survey. So please fill that out. We want to know, what did you think of this presentation? Would you like to see more of this topic? We do share the feedback with our guest speakers so they know how was their presentation as well. So please, thank you for taking the time. I'd also like to again thank Verizon for sponsoring this event. For our in-person guests, we have lunch across the hall for you as well. So thank you to Verizon for that. And Anthony's going to pull up in a moment the rest of our event. October is happening at the hub. And actually, we've expanded. We're doing some programming over at the East County. Eduardo is going to do our IT career pathways. It's revamped. We revised it over the summer, so it's a different format. So if you or anybody you know wants to learn what are career pathways in IT, Eduardo is going to do that as well. We have some consumer mastermind classes. We have some business tools, one-day event happening in addition to our regular guest speaker series as well. So please visit our website, or those of you that are here, you're, like I said, on our distribution list, so you'll get those reminders as well. So with that, Festina, thank you again. And I look forward to seeing everybody online or in person in the future. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.